All right, it's 7 o'clock. Dumfries Town Council meeting Tuesday, September 6, 2022 is hereby now called to order. We'll take the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Councilman Brown,
Present.
Councilman Fields,
Here.
Councilwoman Miles,
Present.
Councilwoman Neville,
Present.
Councilman Pete, Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Here.
Mayor Wood.
Present.
Sir, you have a quorum.
It's noted that Councilman Pete called and said he wouldn't be here tonight. Okay. All right. We'll now have a moment of silent prayer, reflection, and it'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Please note, Mrs. Pandek is also en route. She probably was in the same traffic I was. All right, next on our agenda is the awards and proclamations. First is thank you, proclamation protecting reproductive rights. Councilwoman Neville, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas in the case of Dobbs versus Jackson, the United States Supreme Court abandoned long-standing precedents and overturned Roe v. Wade, as well as Planned Parenthood versus Casey. Whereas there is no decision more important for a woman than whether and when to have children. Whereas for more than 50 years, the right of woman to reproductive choice has been recognized and protected at the federal level. And whereas abortion is an essential reproductive health service and its availability is an important part of ensuring every American's right to safe and accessible health care. And whereas that right is a safe abortion has proven essentially to the ability of women across this nation to protect their health, their lives, and their financial stability of their families. And whereas that right to reproductive choice also impacts the liberty, health, and financial security of transgender men and non-binary Americans. And whereas it is not possible to ban abortion, but only to ban safe and legal abortions, as evidenced by the many people harmed or killed by illicit procedures in the years before Roe v. Wade. And whereas limiting access to safe abortion has been shown to increase incidents of domestic abuse, and laws criminalizing abortion can have profoundly negative impacts on women who suffer miscarriages. And whereas the negative impacts of limiting access to safe abortion disproportionately affect low-income women, women of color, transgender, and non-binary Americans, and survivors of child abuse, sexual assault, or domestic violence. And whereas Roe v. Wade and its progeny were foundational decisions codifying the right to privacy, and their repeal places in jeopardy many other essential rights and freedoms enjoyed by the American people. And whereas women's reproductive rights are human rights, and the majority of the American people support the right of women to make these personal decisions without the intervention of their government. Whereas Despite the decision in Dobbs v. Jackson, the right to a safe abortion remains protected by the laws of the Commonwealth of Virginia as they currently stand, though that right has been and will continue to be under legislative attack in the General Assembly of Virginia. And whereas the town of Dumfries has a vested interest in protecting and promoting the health and rights of its residents, including the right of women to reproductive choice and the right of all residents of Dumfries to privacy. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Town Council of Dumfries that we affirm our opposition to the imposition of restrictions on reproductive choice by the governments of the Commonwealth of the United States. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next on our agenda will be the adoption of the agenda.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay, so a motion by the Vice Mayor.
Second.
All right, second by Councilwoman DeVille. Any discussion? I'm seeing none. I'll call for the question to adopt the agenda as presented. Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Councilman Fields, Councilwoman DeVille,
Aye.
Councilwoman Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
That's a yes for me. The motion carries 6-0 to adopt the agenda as presented. Next on the agenda is the approval of our Dumfries Town Council minutes from August 3rd, 2022.
Motion to approve.
A motion by the Vice Mayor. Second by Councilman Fields. Any discussion on the minutes? Councilwoman DeVille?
I'd just like to state that I was not present, so I will be abstaining.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none. All right. Councilwoman Miles?
Aye.
Councilman Brown?
Abstain.
All right. Councilman Fields? And then Councilwoman DeVille abstains. Vice Mayor?
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. That motion is 4-2. 4-0-2. All right, carries.
Mayor, excuse that'd be 1 second.
Next on the agenda is our citizen comment period. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up tonight?
We have C. Cornell, residents of Dumfries, 17650.
Street.
Find at the time, please. And to the citizens, thank you.
Good evening. I am here to share what has been some of our experiences since having Peninsula Pacific Entertainment Casino and its construction company demolish my neighborhood. Leaving our home as the only home on the street. And we hope everyone will download the video and share with their family, friends, all over the state of Virginia, especially in Richmond. The first experience, which I shared with the town council and mayor and manager, was the lowball offer of $200,000 on our property, which is not even what the real estate assessment price for the property is. The home slated for demolition by Peninsula Pacific Entertainment had their electric power disconnected. On April 13th, I heard a pop and then witnessed fireworks, raining white sparks of fire falling over feet from my head, an episode that would have caused anyone's heart rate to kick into high gear. A live wire coming from the homes purchased by the casino had popped and burned from the pole, causing a live wire to hang down and curve up about 12 inches on the ground. No one knew but me because I was completely alone because I have no neighbors. The casino believes it is okay to wipe out a person's neighborhood and leave only one home on the street. I reported the incident to the power company, and the electric company came out and cut the line. No doubt I saved some lives, but I could have very well have had my life in that night. We have had bobcats in our yard since the casino removed all the woods next to our home. Every day since the casino purchased the other homes, our scenery has been metal fencing. And the fencing that was put up was not even the same fencing that was told to us that would occur by the Peninsula Pacific Entertainment's rep. There was not silk fencing placed along the street going over to our home. So right there on what is indeed the public street, we had debris washing down. I did send a letter to the town council,
Time.
mayor, and manager.
Sorry, ma'am, that's your time.
Okay. Well, I'll keep coming back.
Is there anyone else signed up to speak?
No, sir, not tonight.
Any citizens that came in late that had wanted the opportunity to speak before we move on? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move to. Huh. Okay. Okay. Thought I had moved on.
Good afternoon, Council. Neverly Teray, 18138 Tibbs Lane, Dumfries, Virginia, 22026. And I just wanted to thank the council for their support of the events that myself and Tanya's Place have put on, trying to serve the community by having a few events. Our last event, the Back to School, we were able to give away over 300 bags and food and necessities. And we did have support of council, so I just want to thank you so much. And we just strive as our Tanya's Place to bring stuff to the community to give away and to serve our community. So we really appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Well, that's everybody's. All right, moving on now to council comments. Councilman Fields, did you have any comments tonight?
I'm glad everyone is out tonight. Good evening. Those are here, those are watching. We've come to a pretty good summer that we've had here in the town of Dumfries. Looking forward to the fall. Kids are back in school, so be careful, be mindful of our school buses and their stop signs, and kids walking to and from school. Please pay attention and make sure we look out for our kids. You have kids in the neighborhood, look out for them. Make sure you're not speeding through the neighborhoods, and let's show that we're being safe, driving safe, and acting safe for our kids. Also, we have a lot of fall events coming up. Check our town calendar to make sure that we're paying attention to what's coming up, and what's being offered to the town citizens and residents. That's all I have for this evening.
Councilwoman Miles, did you have any comments?
No comments tonight, no.
Councilwoman Neville?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to wish everyone a successful school year and extend magnitudes of gratitude to all the community organizations who have come together to lighten the load for parents, especially in the time of this inflation we're experiencing, and stand in the gap to distribute food and backpacks and school supplies. It's been wonderful to see all of the work of our community members and our organizations who have come together to make back to school a little easier for those who need it. So, extending gratitude, magnitudes of gratitude to you. I'd like to remind the parents and guardians, as a teacher, that school staff cannot do it alone. Please be an active partner in your child's education. And also, as the one who's not seeking reelection, I'd like to remind everyone that all elections matter. Please exercise your right to vote. Please register to vote. Please check on your neighbors and say, neighbor, are you registered to vote? Do you know when we're going to go vote? Do you know where you're going to go vote? All elections matter. And keep it classy, Dumfries. That's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Brown.
I have prepared remarks tonight, Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I wanted to, as an organizer of the Back to School event held here in Dumfries in the commuter lot, I wanted to also thank all the businesses and individuals and for-profit and nonprofit organizations that contributed to that event. We handed out over 1,000 backpacks and fed a lot of members of the community. There were boxes of food that were also handed out through the Prince William Community Foundation. And it was really a good event to see how well the community came together. I'm happy to have been a part of that. It brings my heart joy to see that and to see how well the community received it, you know, especially when it comes to the boxes, because hunger has no face. And there are a lot of people in our community, as affluent as it is, there are still a lot of people in our community who go home every night hungry. So it was really great to see so many people come out and receive the donations and the foods and what have you that were collected for that day. And next year we will hold another event. And when you see the call come out for participation to help with backpacks, if you are blessed enough to contribute, please consider your neighbors, because there are a lot of folks out there who could use the help. And on that note, I also want to welcome all the students back to school, and I wish them all a fun, productive, healthy, and safe school year. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. I definitely attach myself to the comments of welcoming everybody back to school, safe school year. Daylight, I don't know what they say, the number is decreasing like 2 to 5 minutes every single day. So it's starting to get darker and cooler. Please slow down in the neighborhoods. It's one of the things we hear sometimes when people remember that there are kids in the street. So we ask everybody to slow down. This month marks 3 years, or last month marks 3 years since we opened up our DMV Select office. So the DMV Select office for us also serves as our ad hoc town hall customer service center. It's by appointment only, but you can get same day appointments. They are there daily. And on September the 12th through September the 14th, our DMV Select office will offer real ID services for those of you who don't have your real IDs yet. So you'll be able to go do things to for your driver's license, your identification cards for you and your children. You'll be able to get disabled parking place cards, your vehicle titles there, address changes, vehicle registration. You could get your Easy Pass transport passes downstairs. You can get compliance summaries, transcripts. You can even get your hunting and fishing licenses downstairs. And so on the 12th through the 14th, we'll be offering those additional real ID services, things that you need your photo ID, which is convenient. You don't have to wait in a long lines. You can get on those same day appointments. Just want to welcome everybody back from their summer break as we get into this fourth quarter of the year. Things begin to move rapidly and quickly. We have a lot of activities happen here in Dumfries, as was stated, as well as a lot of development going on in Dumfries. We have a lot of developers who are interested in Dumfries based on the land and a lot of things that are moving. You're going to see a lot of things coming before us in the next couple of months as far as people who are interested in some of those projects. And we got some interesting hearings planned that's on the agenda later on today. So just stay engaged. Like, you know, it's okay to come up and speak and to give comments and feedback. We take that and we have these conversations with our staff about how to handle those type of things and move forward. So thank you. And those are my remarks tonight. First on our agenda to go through is a presentation from Virginia Railway Express to talk to us about a fare-free September. All right, so we'll have Mr. Joe Swartz from VRE's Director of Government and Community Affairs here to give the presentation tonight. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Thank you so much for having me. I don't get to do this very often, but I get to come and tell you about free stuff. We at VRE, if you want to go to the next slide, we decided that it was time that we really said thank you to the people who have been riding it. We just celebrated our 30th anniversary, and we've had people that have been riding for well over 20 years. And we wanted to do something to really thank those folks that have been riding for a long, long time. We also thought it would be a good way to get new people on board. So it just so happens in the timing that we were thinking about it, also, Metro decided they were going to shut down their blue line and yellow line. So we think we're going to help out with that too. So for the entire month of September, the entire system is actually going to be free. So you don't have to have a ticket of any type. You just show up, get on the train, and we can take you where you're going. Now, we're a very traditional commuter service. So we go up north in the mornings and we come back in the afternoon. We're not like Metro. We can't go back and forth all day yet. We're working on that. That's probably about 10 years off. So if you want to go to the next slide, this is an outline of our system, but the most important thing for folks in this community is probably the Ripon station. I think that's the closest. Certainly Quantico is accessible, but it's kind of hard to get in the gate. So unless you're military, it's probably not the right choice for you as far as stations. So Ripon is the one that anybody here would want to go to. But like I said, it's free parking, and for the entire month of September, you just show up and get on the train. I was gonna, I think we might have the website up on the next slide, and then I have some handouts that maybe we can leave somewhere where people from the city, as they're coming by, maybe at the DMV that you just talked about, that they can come by and check out our schedule so they know when to come. We are also not like Metro in that our trains don't come quite as often. So you want to know when the train's going to get there. You can't just show up and know that there's going to be one in a couple of minutes. So as I said, we go up in the mornings. We have trains. The first train leaves Spotsylvania before 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who gets on that one, but it's actually pretty full. I'm very surprised. And then all morning long up until about 8 o'clock. And then starting in the middle of the afternoon, we have a 1 o'clock Fredericksburg line, or I think it leaves Union Station about 1:15, and then comes on down. And then the rest of the afternoon, we have trains. They tend to be about once an hour. So again, we're very surprised. I hope there's lots of people out there listening. We're always surprised when we go out in the community and we do different events and people say, we had no idea that there was a train service that could get me into DC. I figured if I had to get on a train, I'd have to drive up to Franconia Springfield and go down Metro. And you never quite know what you're going to get once you get on Metro. So we hope that everybody in the community takes the advantage. We don't run on weekends. We only run Monday through Friday. But if you need to get into DC, especially for the next month, when the blue line is shut down, we think traffic is going to be pretty bad for a while. If you need to get into DC or even Alexandria or Crystal City, we think you're going to really love getting on our train. Couple other plugs we always talk about in comparison to Metro. Please bring your coffee, bring your donut, bring some for your people that are sitting around you too. We actually end up with people who get to know each other because they ride the same train all the day. So I'm amazed how many, you always see somebody with a box of donuts and then they're handing them out. So, but you can eat, drink, and we have restrooms on the trains. So it's a great ride. It's about 60 minutes from Ripon if you're going all the way to Union Station. And I guess, I think there's one more slide if we want to go to that. After September, you can see certainly if you get one of our 31 trip tickets, the per trip price is about $315. I've been on the hot lanes in the mornings and in the afternoons, and I don't think I've ever seen it be lower than $5. So it's a pretty good deal. We do offer discounts for senior citizens and persons with disabilities. And if you work for the federal government in this area, every agency has to provide transit subsidy. And the amount of transit subsidy that they now provide from Ripon absolutely covers 100% of that ticket. So if you're a federal employee and you want to ride us after September, you actually can ride for free. You just need to sign up for your federal subsidy. There are many, many more private sector companies who are also providing transit subsidies now. Either they are paying a little bit of it, or there's actually a program where you can get it pre-tax, sort of like you get your healthcare money pre-tax. So it saves you a little bit of money on your tickets for that. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, I just wanted to get down here and let you guys know about this and let everybody who's listening know about this. Give us a try while it's free. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's certainly better than sitting in traffic. You're going to come home. You're going to be a lot more rested. You're going to be in a much better mood than if you've been sitting in traffic for a couple of hours. And the big thing that we're going to start talking about here, so you guys will be the first as we start this push. If you look at the statistics, we are 10 times safer than being in your car. Our safety systems rival those of the airlines. The only place that you're any safer traveling right now is if you're in a plane, and it's only by a little bit. So in addition to being a nice, easy ride with a bathroom that you can eat or nap or do whatever you want, you're going to be a lot safer on our trains too. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. That was good. Do you give discount for us elected officials? I think that was one of the questions. That no,
we'll have to look into that. We'll have
you that serve in the town of Dumfries. No, I'm just joking. No, great opportunity. I think to get to learn about the VRE and to be able to ride it. I do know Long Branch Bridge is fully funded. I serve on Northern Virginia Transportation Authority, which will be able to eventually get you two-way going back and forth, being that the money is fully funded there, get that bridge rocking and rolling. But for now, we got that commuter.
It's going to be amazing when the Long Bridge opens up and we can become instead of a commuter service, what we want to call ourselves is a regional service. And we can run all day, we can run on the weekends, and we can run back and forth. Because the fact of the matter is, once we can start running trains south in the mornings, that opens up a lot of economic opportunity for places like Dumfries, where you can start a business and you know that people can get down here from northern Virginia, or they can come up from Spotsylvania.
And that'd be great for people looking to relocate down here, businesses,
Absolutely.
sports teams, and the like. What is the time? What is the time for it comes back now? That was a question I really wanted to ask. What time does it turn around? So we go up in the morning starting at 5. What time does it turn around to come back?
So the first train out of Union Station is about, I think it's 1:15 if I remember correctly. And then the next one is in the 2 o'clock hour. And then in the 3 o'clock hour, I think we might have 2. And there's 2 in the 4 o'clock hour, and then it goes as late. I want to say the last train is in the mid 7 o'clock hour.
All right, Council, do you have any questions before? Comments? Okay, Councilman Fields.
Thank you for that presentation.
Sure.
It's been a while since I've ridden the VRE, but
Come back.
yeah, definitely. Definitely, I will take a trip this month. The weekend service. I got a question about that.
Okay.
What are your hours on the weekend?
Okay, so right now we don't have any weekend service.
Okay.
The state has recently done a deal with CSX. The state is actually buying part of the CSX freight railroad. Mm-hmm. And part of that deal is going to allow us to run a few more trains, and we're going to try basically a pilot program for weekend service. I couldn't tell you exactly when that's going to start, but I would hope it would be in the next couple of years. I don't think we're talking about 10 years, but certainly once the Long Bridge is open and we have that kind of capacity, absolutely, we're going to have, you'll see weekend service that sort of rivals weekday service at that point. We can run a lot of trains.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you for your, Councilman Brown.
Just a couple of questions. For the federal employees, the 31-day pass, is there any rollover on those days that you don't use the passes?
No, the 31-day pass in particular, you validate it and then it's good for the next 31 days. But we do have several other pass types, some that are just, an amount of trip. We have a 10-trip ticket, for instance. So you just use the trip whenever you need to.
And second question, do you have quiet trains?
We do have quiet cars. Every train has a quiet car.
And last question, how full is the trip coming from, the capacity coming back from DC? So is there any wait time on that?
I hate to leave on a down note, but actually we are only at about 35% of pre-pandemic. So there is lots of room on the train right now, which is not good for us, but good for anybody who wants to try the train out. But we are building our ridership back day by day. My CEO likes to say we get at least one new rider a day, and we're hoping with this and free trips that people are going to try us and start riding us. And I think you've seen the federal government is starting to change their tune on how many days a week people need to come in. So I think our ridership is going to start going up, but we have lots of room for people right now.
Thank you for your presentation. We encourage everybody to take advantage of this resource and this service going into DC.
And our website is vre.org if anybody needs any more information about the schedules.
You can leave everything with the clerk. Just flyers. Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is Higher Grounds Career Education Assistance Program. Ms. Janae Monroe, President and Founder. Please come to the podium. The floor is yours.
Thank you. And good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. And most important is your city manager who saw us tabling at an event and invited us to speak. So we're most appreciative of that. But I wanted to just take for a few minutes and just tell you about community collaboration. And I know that there is a council and there are people set aside for each council in each district in this area, Northern Virginia, but I don't have to be because I'm just a citizen. So our goal is to service all of you. And as part of our goal to service all of you, we want to make sure that you know that we're here and what we're doing for your county already, in your area already. So in your area, we have a grant program that we're using to do career assistance for anyone who has been impacted by COVID. And we want to make sure that you know the opportunities we're giving to them. Right there, you see a display of the last CNA class that just went through. We just got this grant in May, and we have put through 51 students between HVAC, CNA, and cosmetology. Now we're getting ready to do plumbing, and our first plumbing class is graduating, and next will be real estate. The goal here is to wake up the communities, bring people back to work, not only just to get a check, but to earn career opportunities, to get the support they need in schools. I know that we think it's important to put everybody in a brick and mortar. I myself am a 16-year college professor, and I can speak firmly and say that not everybody wants to go over to the higher education building, but they will come to the smaller schools in their neighborhoods. So what we've done in the last 5 months is we've been outside where they go to get their food, where they do their laundry, where they go to play. We table just out in the communities. That's where we got all of our students from. And at the end of the day, that's why we have so far 100% from certification back into the workforce. We consider this, and this is not new, even when I was in the military and then when I became a male spouse, for 30 years, when I take off my uniform, I went and found my community, found the people that needed some direction, and I made sure I gave it to them. So this is a vision that I've been doing for 30 years, and just getting the opportunity to do it here in the last 8 years. When we stood up as a 501c3, year one, we were nonprofit of the year because we stuck to the mission, which is to provide opportunities to help leverage anyone who needs it. We are in the schools. We are in every school district right now. We're 100% turnaround for Unity in terms of if they do an 8-part module with us, they check on the students after they graduate and 100% are in the workforce. And these are the ones that haven't gone to college. The same thing for Osborne. Osborne's putting us on Perkins grant this year because of the impact we've had on the community. I believe that this should be afforded to all. I believe that Higher Ground needs to grow. We're a small team, but if we had the opportunity to partner more and to avail ourselves to your communities, then we'll get the support we need. Just in the 5 months of running this officially and touching every program, although this is a Prince William County, we've been using our own funds to make sure we leave no man behind, because that's how I think about it. No matter, this grant does one thing, but if I find the money, I will do it for all. Most recently, we just did a part of the Prince William Give Back. We were the #1 fundraisers for Prince William Gives Back. Why? Because it's the people who have said, hey, they're the ones that helped my daughter. They're the ones that helped my cousin. So I just know that if we could do that, have that kind of impact in 5 months, what will happen if we're allowed to just help anybody that needs help? And we don't have to draw a line in the sand because we don't hold the positions that you hold. So when you have the available funds, think about the little engine that's out there making sure that there's opportunities for all. Lastly, I'll say the #1 barrier to some of our community people getting certifications is English as a second language. We took it out of our own funds and bought Mango, the English language platform. 5 people in each household can start on Mango as they're going through school. The next phase is what we're doing is we're asking the schools, we have 8 schools we're in partnership with, we're asking them, if we get a Spanish-speaking person to be in your class, will you offer cohorts for your Spanish learners? So far, we have 8 partners, all 8 have said, we'll do that for you. So it's not about, again, it's not about trying to find out where somebody fits, but letting them tell you where they fit and then going out and make it happen for them. If we want to grow the economy, we can bring all the jobs we want here. As an HR executive, you can create as many workforce opportunities, but if you don't prepare people, give them the safety net, support them, back them up when they say they're struggling, you're never going to keep a stable workforce. That's not how any of this works. So if you're willing to help us as well as other organizations like us that are trying, especially those attached to Prince William, the Dr. Gaddis program, any of those attached to that, we are the people that are out here saying everybody needs to go back to work in a more thoughtful, intentional, prepared way so they don't back up. We want back up and be on the system. We want everybody to take care of themselves. Lastly, you want to see crime rate go down? Put people to work, make them feel proud of contributing to the society, and you'll see those numbers to include. We're also in the juvenile detention facility. We were in there for 1 workshop. Now they're saying, can you find a way to come back the entire year for 2023? That's because we are reaching people and through their language, through the ways they need to be talked to, the way they need to be cultivated to get to the next level. I did bring slides, but I don't think I need to go through the slides because I was told I had 5 minutes, but I just wanted to make sure that I was able to share with you, I think in the most sincere way I could. And that's just to say, when I go over to Manassas, and when I go to Manassas Park and when I come here, I want to say, let's quit drawing the line in the sand about where we can help and where we can spend our efforts and our dollars. And let's help everybody in Prince William County. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Councilwoman Miles.
Yes, thank you so much for your presentation. And also thank you for the work that you're doing in the community. This sounds amazing. And I can't wait to share with my neighbors and friends. I do have a question. I feel like I know the answer, but just for clarification, do you offer any services for individuals trying to obtain their GED or complete high school?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Brown.
So I just want to thank you. I met one of your representatives at bag giveaway for back to school, and very impressive. So I don't know, forgot his name, but tell him I said thank you. Also, I see that you have in your presentation notes that you have 14 current Dumfries residents in the program.
Yes.
And that's why I really wanted him to come out, you all to come out and present. Because again, if folks out there that need to transition to another career, knowing that the opportunity is out there is very important. Another key point that he made was being a nonprofit organization, some of the funding, if not most of it, is free of charge. Is that correct?
All of it is free of charge, yes. And I want you to know, this is my passion project. I have 4 employees that get paid part-time. I am 100% pro bono.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your passion. You know, we've been, I guess, serving together over the last 10 years, from the Chamber's workforce development, education, to when I was over at Stratford, you come over there trying to get the students and everything like that. So always like to see you consistent and to be able to start this. I know we talked about this, and now to see you actually bring it to pass is great, and to really do it. So I'm excited for this passion project that you're doing. And thank you for continuing to keep your uniform on and serve us. Was there any other comments? Okay. So, Councilwoman DeVille?
With the exception of the hardworking town of Dumfries staff, I think you and your team are some of the hardest workers in the greater Prince William. So thank you for your presentation, and thank you for all that you all do. And my question is, how can others get involved? So how can other companies and organizations partner with you, 1, and 2, how can people volunteer, just in case someone's watching, they're tuned in? How can they get involved and volunteer? And 3, what do you need? Because we had a little conversation earlier and I did not hear a clear and specific ask. And I want to hear you ask and let us know what you need.
We need space. We need to be able to be in the community in a more stable way. We're very transient. We're moving from place to place. So a hub also for students to come, one place where they can come and meet with their teachers. And what do we need? If you'd like to serve in any capacity with us, especially in terms of teaching and sponsoring and actually being in the work, we just need reliable people who are above what they see and willing to get down in grassroots and help these young people, especially in the juvenile detention. I say this from a thoughtful place, that when we want to go into a place and we see even all Black and brown kids, we need everybody to go in there with them, because they need to understand that they can get help from anywhere. So we need the sincerity and stick-to-itiveness of leaders and the maturity to come and show them another way. So we'll take anyone with that mindset.
How many days a week?
Excuse me?
How many days a week do they come?
Depends on what program they're in. So there's 8 schools, so it depends on what school program they're in. But we also do we provide their uniforms. If they're, we make sure we partner with every one of the nonprofits. If one person says, my problem is daycare, if my problem is food, we look at that list to include your list, and we make sure, okay, we've got your tuition paid, and here are the 4 other agencies we like to connect you with for the other things you need. And an electrician, when he finishes, they have to have that bag of tools, which is $350. We make sure when they go in that workforce, they're ready. And we tell the person on the other end, if you have a problem, don't fire them. Come back to us. Let us help them with their soft skills. Give them the opportunity.
Well, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for educating our residents and our council and our staff.
Thanks.
For sure, we'll be in touch. Thank you. Next on our agenda is the Northern Virginia Regional Commission update. Councilwoman DeVille.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, thank you so much. First, I'd like to start with an apology, because I had shared an electronic version of the State of the Region, the COVID-19 economic recovery data in Northern Virginia, and I have hard copies and I left them right at home, but y'all have the electronic version. I will be bringing by those hard copies and leaving them here for anyone on council, any citizens who would like access to that data in that format. Picking back up to a few weeks ago, August 20th, we had the energy efficiency canvassing. It was a wonderful day with all of our partners, to include ACT, Max and the community housing partners and a host of leaders and volunteers in the community. We went door to door in the heat to share information regarding a variety of energy efficiency programs that residents can consider to help reduce their home energy bills. I have extra door hangers with information coming sometime this week in the mail, and I will leave those out as well in case anyone in the council, anyone in the community would like that information, you can have it. Also, you can go to communityhousingpartners.org for that information and lower your energy bill. Set that up before the winter months settle in. September 20th, the Northern Virginia Regional Commission will host a webinar on the transatlantic economy at the local level, the case of Northern Virginia and Hamburg, Germany, where I led the commission on a tour of just to look at some environmental opportunities that we could bring back to our region. On the 21st and 22nd of this month, NVRC will be working with the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority and other local partners to share information about an upcoming job fair for veterans and military spouses. One day will be virtual, one day will be face-to-face. And some of the region's largest employers will be participating, and details can be found on the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority website, which is fairfaxcountyeda.org. And, it's funny, when I was elected chairwoman of the Northern Virginia Regional Commission, it was pointed out that I was the first Black woman to serve in that position. And my response is that we need to make an impact, and that's what I'm here for, impact. Bringing a presence, building a presence for HBCUs in the Northern Virginia region is that impact. Everyone deserves access to quality education. I'd like to thank the hardworking staff at NVRC, Norfolk State University, Virginia State University, my alma mater, the Northern Virginia Economic Development Alliance, and NVRC commissioners, especially those who serve on the committee to build a presence for HBCUs in the Northern Virginia region. This is a purpose-driven Herculean task that is constantly moving in the right direction to bring a vision that was shared before the pandemic at a board meeting to reality. The latest update is the Northern Virginia Economic Development Alliance hosted a meeting in July where representatives from both institutions of higher learning shared presentations. Those presentations and the conversation resulted in economic developers from the 11 localities present expressing interest in having the satellite campus flag planted in their localities. This is an extremely exciting time, and that is actually an understatement, and will make an indelible impact on the lives of the 2.5 million residents represented by the region through educational attainment. And I speak for many when I say we are extremely excited for what is to come. Education is key to liberation. I'd like to share that I'm honored to be able to stay on board as a volunteer with NVRC, with the Building a Presence for HBCUs in the Northern Virginia Region Committee as of January 1st, to see this project through. As a proud alumna and staunch advocate for HBCUs, I'm extremely happy to continue to serve. We're one Nova region. Thank you, Mayor.
Council, any questions, comments? But this is definitely some exciting times. Thank you for representing us on there. On the who were the 11 localities? Were they all the NVRC? I see you, Brian. I got yours. Can I ask one question? Thank you, Mr. Phil.
I can follow up and provide, you want a list of all the
No, I was just
11
wondering if
localities?
it was just the ones that was in NVRC that was interested.
I can't tell you because we have more than 11 represented on NVRC,
Okay.
but that's the majority.
Okay. Councilman Fields, go ahead.
As far as HBCU, Virginia State University, I'm very happy to hear that this is going to be in Northern Virginia, hopefully soon. VSU, Virginia State, is in my backyard. My father graduated from there, mother worked there. Some of Virginia State University Gospel Choir back in my college days. And I started my policing career at Virginia State University Campus Police. So glad to see that here and glad, to be a big supporter of HBCUs. Thank you.
I'd also like to add, this is something that works multiple ways. It's a win-win for everyone. There are no HBCUs north of Richmond. Virginia Union, which is a private university, is the northernmost HBCU in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So I call this building a presence, because once you have a presence, once your name is on the building and the Amazon's coming, they see you, they know you're here. So it's also a win for the HBCUs to have their flag here in our region, because it gives them more economic power. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I think that's great to know that education, that the quality of an HBCU education is being brought closer inland for those of us who are in this area, and for people who, cannot go live on campus. So to be able to have the access in this area, I think that's wonderful. As Dumfries is growing, I've said this in an email, but I want to say it out loud as well. As Dumfries is growing and we have a lot of development on the horizon, I would love to see Dumfries be considered as a location for satellite offices, because we sit prime right in the center of Fredericksburg and DC. So this is a great location for consideration, and I do hope that you will share that with the rest of the commission. Thank you.
And I will share per that email. Thank you for that email I shared with our town manager. So if there's any action to take up on that as far as the economic development piece, Mr. Rogers, you got it.
What is the, I guess you would say, I don't know if the commission has gotten there, the biggest, I think, hurdle or challenge? I know, I don't know if they have finance, and I know we talked about, you said something about Amazon, maybe writing a check or something like that when they come on. That's what, I don't know, maybe I'm just assuming.
Mayor,
But what's
you're
the-
putting words in my mouth, but I like those words.
Yeah, what's the cost effect, or how would this get,
So
paid
before it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, and we want it done correctly. And I say we, I'm talking about everybody involved, including the 2.5 million residents of Northern Virginia, right? So you have you have SHEV, there's a council, there's what types of programs that are going to be presented, what types of programs are going to be offered. The type of space has to do with the accreditation through SHEV. So there's a lot involved there. And right now it's the two universities, they have some internal work to do as far, if two entities come together, there's some type of MOU, there's some partnerships. So it's a lot of research work now, but those things will come with, and they'll coincide with what type of space and what is approved through SHEV. So that's another task. But when you mention money and we go back to the Economic Development Alliance meeting, you have 11 localities that are talking about incentives. They all want it at their locality, including Prince William County. So that I can't say.
All right, council, any other questions? I said none. Thank you for that very detailed presentation.
Excuse me, Mayor. I'm sorry, Mayor and Council, before you proceed to the action item, we have Mind Spring Recovery, and they were informed that they will be able to address council during the citizen comment period, if you would allow them to speak.
I did call for extra time. I would take a point of personal privilege and allow you to come address the council for a couple minutes. Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First, I'd like to apologize for getting our wires crossed. There's some sort of miscommunication on our end, whether we were on the agenda or not, so I apologize for that. I appreciate you giving us the time. I generally would launch into a long diatribe about what my passion is in recovery and my own personal experience, but given the situation that we're in, I'm going to skip that for now. We wanted to come here tonight and introduce ourselves. Some of you may have passed what used to be the Sleep Inn on Jefferson Davis Highway. I'm not sure what it's called now, but I think my architects do, as they keep filing for permits and the name has changed. We have leased that property with an option to buy from the current owner, and we will become a 75-bed residential treatment facility treating those who suffer from drug and alcohol addiction. Our program will be generally a 30-day inpatient program where we will offer medically assisted treatment, helping people wean off their addictions from both all kinds of drugs, narcotics, in addition to alcohol, and in addition to counseling, group therapy, individual therapy, and enabling them and giving them the tools that they need to succeed beyond just our 30-day program. I have with me today I personally do not, besides for my own personal path, I don't have any professional experience as it relates to recovery. However, Lisa Duhorty is our executive director and director of operations for Mainspring Recovery, and specifically will be the executive director, the captain of the ship in our Dumfries location. Has 25 years experience doing exactly that. And if you'll see the end of the presentation, there are 4 recommendation letters from various institutions where she's worked that speak about her in glowing terms. So it was important for us to come before you here today just to introduce ourselves. We'd like to integrate ourselves into the community as much as possible. It's encouraging to hear all the different initiatives that are going on within the community, both from a community development standpoint, in addition to all the outreach that's being done from a job standpoint, from an education standpoint. If there's any questions that you might have for us, Lisa and I are more than happy to answer them or address them.
We will, I guess if you hang around after the meeting, we'll be able to, being that, this will be citizen comment time. We don't typically engage in conversation with you. So, but thank you for coming up to introduce yourself to us today. And maybe we'll have a more formal presentation and bring you back to another meeting in the future.
And for the public comment, I'd also like to make sure folks know that we will be hiring. We have a total of 65 positions to fill over the course of the next 6 months or so. So keep your eyes open for those positions.
Thank you. And a point of clarity from the town manager, if I may, is this going to be by right or conditional use? Does the council have any action to take on this? No? Huh? By right, okay.
We got lucky.
Just wanted to make sure we had clarity there. All right, next on our agenda is a resolution to initiate and authorize the town manager to schedule public hearings for zoning text amendments to Chapter 70, Section 70-1, 70-14, Section J, and 70-535, Section 15, to add the definition, approval process, and regulation of a comprehensive sign plan to the zoning ordinance. Town manager, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. As you so eloquently read the resolution that is before you, and so we are asking for town council's vote in the affirmative to allow us to authorize us to advertise the public hearing for ZTA 2022-001 for the town council and the planning commission respectively.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Miles, second by Vice Mayor. Any discussion from the council? Okay, seeing none, I will call for the question. Councilwoman Miles?
Aye.
Councilwoman DeVille?
Aye.
Councilman Fields? Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
That's a yes for me. The public hearing hearing date, September 20th, is passed on a 6-0 motion. All right. Seeing no further items on the menu, this meeting is now adjourned.